Hey, so welcome to part 2 of my video for why I quit teaching. Sorry, part 1 was in 2 different parts, so technically this is part 3, but the file wouldn't upload, so I had to like split it into 2 parts. And sorry, it's kind of ratchet. I'm filming this with my cell phone, which is not an Apple, it's an Android. But before I get into the second reason for why I am quitting teaching, there's one thing I left out of the previous video. A lot of people, when they hear teachers complain that they're stressed, they will say, oh, well, you get to take those nice long summer breaks and you get holidays off. Like, what's there to complain about? And those things are nice. You know, having summers off is nice. Having a spring break and a fall break is nice. However, you're still working sometimes during the fall break and the spring break. Like, you bring work with you. Now it's up to you if you decide to do it or not. Some teachers actually like work over the break. Like, they may do something that the school is doing over the break, or they may work like a part-time job like over the break. And also over the summers, like, we have trainings to go to. We usually go back to school 2 weeks to a month earlier than the kids go back. So it's not as long of a summer break as you think it is, and it's not completely relaxing. Also, I want you to think about it like this. Especially if you work a full-time job for 12 months a year. Imagine your boss called you into his or her office and they said, you know, I think I'm going to give you 2 months to just chill. Now, you would be happy. You'd be like, yes, thank you. But then your boss tells you, however, I still want you to complete the same level of work within the 10 months you are working. And you know, I don't really want you to work overtime. So you have 2 extra months worth of work that you have to spread out over those 10 months. You're probably going to be taking work home. You're probably going to be stressed out. And so by the time your break comes, you just feel relieved. You're like, that's how teachers feel. Is the 10 months you're working are super stressful because you're working like that. So when the summertime comes, it's well deserved. I just thought I'd say that. Alright, so the second reason I'm deciding to leave teaching is because teaching is not fun. It's not about the kids. It's all about the kids' test scores. I'm going to say that again. It is not about preparing, not even that. It's not about uplifting children and teaching children. It's about kids passing standardized tests. That's what teaching is in the 21st century in the United States. That's what it's about. These tests are the EOGs, the EOCs, stuff like TRC testing, which tests the reading level, case assessment, map assessment. It's just different tests to see what the kids know, if they make growth. And I mean, on the one hand, it's good because for some kids who are good test takers, or who actually know how to take a test and not get test taking anxiety and understand how to do it, it can show you what they've learned. But so many other factors go into how somebody does on a test. You know, do they have test taking anxiety? Do they have some type of reading disability? Maybe it's not diagnosed yet, so they don't have an IEP, and so they can't, you know, when they read, they just kind of like, I don't know what this says. Are they having a bad day? Are they stressed out from home? Do they not like this class? And so they don't care, you know. Schools and teachers are evaluated on these kids' test scores. So I want you to think about that. Kids as young as like 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old are taking tests, because it's not just the EOGs. Every kid takes a test. And they are, teachers' career relies on whether or not a kindergarten or first grader can do good on a test, on like a standardized test. Usually kids are still like believe in Santa Claus. Yeah, we're expecting them to be able to fill out a Scantron, read a question, and write a well thought out answer do word problems. On the one hand, I am glad that we are teaching critical thinking and problem solving skills, but I think sometimes it's too much or it's too advanced for the ages. You know, like when I was in college to become a teacher, we learned about the levels of human development as a child, and to understand that stuff that's very complex and abstract, you have to have a formal type of brain development, which not even all adults have. Kids who are very young have concrete brain development, so that means that they learn from hands-on stuff. If they can't see it or feel it or experience it, sometimes they really can't get it. So I feel like we're expecting a lot from these people, and they may not cognitively be able to do it, you know. And that's another thing. Like, it's stressful for the teachers, but it's stressful for the kids, you know. Every year I've been teaching these kids, they'll start crying while they're taking the test. And, you know, 4th grade, it was like, okay, you know, they're getting a little bit older. They've taken some tests for a couple years. But even like 1st graders, they'll start crying because they're like, I'm going to fail the test. I'm not going to go to 2nd grade. Like that. That's too much stress. These kids already hate school in elementary school. They feel like they're failures in life. It's sad. And I feel sad for this generation of kids. And I hope that when they grow up, they still feel like they're worth something, or that they're smart. Because I feel like those of them that don't pass these tests, they're kind of just viewed as like, you're not gonna pass anyway, you know. So I don't know, I just feel like it's not right. I became a teacher so that I could encourage these kids and get them excited about learning and all that stuff. And it's all about testing. That's it. And it's stressful for the parents too, because a lot of times they're like, oh my gosh, my child's gonna be retained. They don't remember taking all these tests. You know, everybody remembers the EOGs, but these kids take a lot of tests that we didn't have to take. You know, like, and a lot of like formal paper and pencil says you have 30 minutes, you have an hour. You know, like, they take real tests. And it sucks because it's not even it's supposed to prepare them to be 21st century learners and global citizens. But it's actually, this is going to sound kind of like a conspiracy, but it's actually like to help these test companies make money. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But there's no time for fun. There's no time for crafts. If it's the end of the school year, yes. But like, I remember being a kid, and sometimes we'd make those little puppets. You know, the puppets with the brown paper bags and the googly eyes. I just remember sometimes, like, my 4th grade teacher, she would just pull those out and just be like, you know what, we got 30 minutes before the end of the day. Let's make some puppets, you know. And it was no curriculum tied to that, but we were having fun, and we were allowed to be kids